And political commentator and senior writer for The Federalist, Mary Catherine Ham, and Bernie Sanders supporter, Naomi Kontz. Mary Catherine, if I could begin with you. So this is our new reporting effort underway to allow Republican delegates to vote their conscience. Do you see any potential there for defeating him at the convention?
I'm not sure for this reason. If you watch the entire primary, the problem was that people didn't go hard enough earlier enough to take him out, and I don't see them suddenly becoming able to do that at the convention at that late date. It may be a Hail Mary. I just don't see it happening.
Naomi, I have to ask you, because this was, well, first I'll ask you, do you agree with Mary Catherine? Do you think this has any potential?
I agree with Mary Catherine on that. I think that the Republicans are in a predicament. You know, they're winning off elections. They're not winning presidentials very well. We all know that. It's sort of the inverse of the Democratic Party right now. But at least they have the concern of the future of the Republican Party in mind, and I commend the Republican Party for that. They just didn't catch on to that early enough. So it is a Hail Mary, and, you know, they're lucky that they have Hillary Clinton as a candidate. We're lucky that we have Hillary Clinton as a candidate.
No, Naomi, I want to ask you as well, because this has caused a huge uproar yesterday. Senator John McCain echoing Donald Trump to some extent, telling reporters that President Obama is, quote, directly responsible for the terror attack in Orlando. His Democratic opponents saying McCain crossed a line there. Now, he did qualify his comments afterwards, but of course, those first comments, they're out there. They tend to stay out there. Does this hurt him at the ballot box in what's a very difficult race?
John McCain?
Yes, John McCain.
I think so. I mean, I'm from Arizona, and there's a lot of independent-thinking Arizonans. There's some progressive independents in Arizona that he's going to depend on. I think the problem with John McCain is he's got this careful balance. He's trying to play this conservative in a conservative strong on national security, but the issue is very much the Bush policies that McCain was on board with, the very firm national security interventionist policies that led us to this situation. I mean, Barack Obama didn't get us into Iraq. Iraq existed already. We had a problem. We had, he had a foreign policy plan. The problem is that John McCain wants to blame Barack Obama, and he's been doing that for the past 8 years.
Mary Catherine, there hasn't been substantial polling since Orlando in the presidential horse race. Would you be surprised if this helped Trump in the national numbers? I mean, of course, the narrative right now is he blew it because of his rhetoric and accusing President Obama of colluding, in effect, with terrorists. That said, I mean, this is right in his wheelhouse.
One, I would note that Barack Obama did get us out of Iraq because of a political promise and left a vacuum for ISIS. But here we go.
That's another. We'll set that aside for a moment.
With this issue, I do think that there is a part of the electorate that responds to just the projection of strength on this issue. You can't do yourself a ton of harm by being very strong on terrorists. And so I think there's a segment of the population that does look at the rhetoric of the left and says, oh, well, you're just calling out all of these law-abiding gun owners in this country and saying they're to blame.
Blaming
and
them.
you're blind to this person who actually was to blame. This is a real problem. And people will look at Trump and say, I'm not so sure about him and his policies, but I feel like he sees the problem.
Right. And I heard that. I made a point of asking. I was down in Orlando for the week, and I asked a lot of folks what their thinking was, and many people, frankly, that kind of rhetoric did appeal to them. I wonder, Naomi, what your response is, because you're seeing that issue of terrorism rocket to the top of concerns for voters in this election.
Americans are concerned, especially when it's homegrown terrorism. I think that the issue here is really about this terrorist loophole. And right now, the only people who are fighting the terrorist loophole, which allowed the San Bernardino attacks, which allowed people who've been investigated by the FBI to purchase guns legally, is the NRA. And the NRA, even their own members, 71% of NRA members want to close out that loophole. 83% of Americans in a poll last week stated that they want to close out that loophole. 9 out of 10 Americans want to have expanded background checks. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democratic issue. This is an NRA issue. And NRA is falsely sending out these messages about what happened in San Bernardino and what happened in Orlando and saying it's just about terrorism, it's just about mental health. No, it's all three of these issues. And there's only one organization that lobbies. $40 million a year gun manufacturers spend on lobbying for these kinds of loopholes. And that's a problem.
All right, Naomi Kontz, we're going to have to leave it there. Mary Catherine, thanks very much.